the gate, on the gate, on the gate, on the gate. Word up. This one takes place in Clinton, Denimore. First time when I went to Clinton. You know what I mean? I think I left Fishkill, double bunk box. Just caught a nice shines, you know what I mean, from my bunkie and shit like that. That was the Mary piece, the Shepherd piece. Yeah, I caught a piece from my bunkie. And me and him had got it on in the cell, and they moved me to Clinton Denimore. You know what I mean? Anyway, when I reached Clinton Denimore, came off the bus. Whole lot of us came off the bus. The first thing police ask you, yo, do anybody want to go to PC? You should see how much niggas be like, hell yeah, I ain't going back there. You know what I mean? Like, shit was crazy back there. It had me nervous. And you had a few niggas raise their hand and be like, yo, yeah, we want to go to PC. We ain't going back there. So here the police. What's the person name you in beef with? If you cannot provide the separation that you got with the person that's in the jail, they is letting you go back there. You know what I mean? So anyway, I don't need no PC. I'm good. And the person that said they wanted to go into PC, he couldn't provide no names, so they shipped his ass back there too. I kind of liked the Kid Clinton. That was a nice spot and shit. Anyway, let's get back in it. Anyway, so I went to Clinton Denimore. They put me on A block. Big Ron Du. Shout out Ron Du, the old man. You know what I mean? He was the porter. You know what I mean? First day there, I land next to my boy Wise from Fort Greene with the dreads. You know what I mean? The short Wise with the dreads from Fort Greene. So I'm asking Wise, when I get into a jail, the first thing I do is trying to find out if any homies is on the tier with me, you know what I mean? Then the next thing I do is try to get something to smoke. I ain't unpacking yet, you know what I mean? Because it's not good to unpack until you see what's really going on out there. Anyway, Wise like, yo, son, don't go to the yard because I'm on key block. So when you on key block, you got to go, and you in A block, you go to the early yard. Early in the morning, they send you to the big yard. And the big yard, that's where they had the courts up top, and then you got the field on the bottom with the phones and shit. You know what I mean? A lot of shit happened in Clinton when I was there. Anyway, the first time in Clinton, Wise like, don't go to the yard, but I'm like, I'm going to the yard. So first time in the yard, I got the big shines on that I just got. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The Shepherd, that shit hanging off my neck. I go into the yard now, see the homies at the pull-up bar. You got the homie Eat 'em Up, YB. You got the homie Nervous. Got a couple homies in there. You got the 550 Puma from Fort Greene, he in there. Couple homies in there in the yard, but then you had the Latin Kings in there too. And at that time, that was like, say like 9998. I'm not specific on the date, but I know it ain't reached 2000 yet. It's still in the 90s, late 90s, like 98, 99. I was going back and forth to court because I had caught a new bid on the Attica side of things. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, nigga, the homies trying to borrow the shines, like, yo, let me hold that, go on a visit, but I ain't stupid. I've been down for like 3 years, 4 years now, so I know what time is it. You lend a nigga your shines. Next thing you know, he say he going on a visit. Next thing you know, he come back, he gonna tell you police took it or whatever. You know what I mean? Then you're gonna have to do something to the homie or, you know what I mean? So I ain't letting nobody hold my shines. You know what I mean? I'm rocking my shines, whatever is whatever. Because I just caught that shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, you got to be a real nigga to rock shines in prison. That shit was heavy. So I went back in that day. The second day, Wise like, yo, son, do not put down for the yard, man. You know what I mean? Try to get off a key block and come to population. But, you know, we ain't trying to hear that shit. We putting down for the yard. So the second day in Clinton, I put down for the yard. We in the big yard again, same homies in the yard. So we get word from a big homie that was in SHU in the box. And the big homie like, yo, how y'all niggas rocking in Key Block Yard? And the homies is getting like moved on in population. You know, the kings be moving on the homies and pressing the homies in population. So, you know what I mean? Me, I just came there, so I'm like, nah, this can't work. YB like, yo, this can't work. Nervous like, this can't work. And there's some Latin kings in the yard, you know, down by their bench. And what happened is two men spin the yard while niggas on the bench, because you're not allowed a certain amount of people to be in congregation at one spot. So what these Latin kings was doing is like, two of them would spin the yard, and when they reach the bench, they'll switch up. One would sit down and one would spin the yard again. We peeping what's going on. So what the homies said, we was like, yo, we gonna ride on these niggas and get them up out of the yard. Yeah, we gonna get them out of the yard right now. You know what I mean? So we put up a plan. When they spin the yard, when two spin the yard, two homies is gonna spin the yard in front of them, and then two homies gonna spin the yard in back of them, and two homies is gonna cut across the yard. So we gonna catch them on the other side of the yard while they walking, you know what I mean? Away from they crowd. Anyway, the car is moving. They came around, two of them Latin kings came around, two homies, I think it was YB and another homie jumped in front of them and started walking like they walking around the yard. And then me and Nervous, the homie Nervous, went in back of them like we walking around the yard. So in the reality, they in the middle walking between KB and the other homies in front of them, and me and the Nervous is in back of them, and we walking like everything's sweet. But at the same time, you got Puma, 550 Puma, cutting across the yard. So we gonna ambush these niggas right now. Now, while the car is moving now, because I call this a car, you know what I mean? While the car is moving, somebody, one of the homies, I'm not gonna say no name, he see shit was about to go down, so he yelling back in codes, you know what I mean? 6006 Gangsta Mac. Me and Nervous like, what the fuck he mean 6006 Gangsta Mac? You know what I mean? The car is already moving. Ain't nothing slowing down this car no more. Ain't no, you know what I mean? So the nigga Nervous like, yo, we gonna make this a GKB non-trade gangster movie right here. Fuck all that. You know what I mean? We ain't pulling back. We ain't jumping out the car or nothing. Anyway, when they reaching around the yard, the other two homies supposed to have turned around and get at them. And when they try to get at them, we was gonna run up and get at them too. These niggas is still walking. You know what I mean? So I say, yo, fuck it. We're gonna make this a Julius B. Sonny, you know what I mean, Billy Badass movie. I just, you know, walked up to one of the poppies, you know, tu tango porfiro. He was like, no tango porfiro. If you know what that mean, I asked him for a light, you know what I mean, or smoke, whatever that shit mean. And he was like, nah, I don't got it. As soon as I went to turn around, I just hit him, boom! Nervous just came up on him, boom! And we just started, two of them, I'm thinking Poppy gonna hold it. Poppy looked at his face, touched his face, turned around, and he kind of taller than me. Jumped on me, I'm hitting him, boom, 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 cutting him, boom, boom, boom. Nervous is cutting them. He's cutting them, trying to get them off of me, because two of them jumping on me right now. One of them running up with an ice pick, trying to jam me in my back. The nigga eat him up, seeing what was going on, snatched him up and threw him to the side, boom. So it's now eat him up, me, YB, Nervous. I don't know if Puma was involved. We getting it on in the yard. All of us is just getting it on. Till, you know what I mean? Till, you know, I don't know if they bust a shot in the yard or what happened where everybody had to get down on the floor and police rushed the yard. This nigga Nervous, whole hand is bloody because he was running back and forth just cutting. Niggas trying to get them off of me because I got the other nigga in a headlock eating them. Boom, 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 boom. Eating them in a headlock. So we all separated. They went to the infirmary, you know what I mean? They brought us inside and shit like that. You know what I mean? Jail locked down. The whole jail got locked down and shit. I went back to my cage in A block, you know what I mean? Fully locked down now. This nigga wise like, yo, I told you don't go to the yard. I told you he was gonna get in trouble. I'm like, damn. Now I gotta go to the hearing and shit. So what I did, you know what I mean? I was so stressed out. The shines that I caught in the other jail, I sold it to Ron Du for 5 sugar bags. That's weed, 5 sugar bag of weed. And me and YG stayed up the whole night smoking 5 sugar bags of weed. You know what I mean? Sold the chain to Ron Du, got me 5 sugar bags, smoked that shit in the morning. They moved me out of A block and put me in B block. You know what I mean? Over that. Word. But guess what? Some of them niggas that wasn't involved in the movie said that they did the movie. Ain't that some shit? Yeah, niggas was claiming other niggas' movies and saying that they did it. When it was really me and Nervous that put that work in. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homie Nervous, Billy Badass from the Bronx. I ain't see that nigga when that shit happened. You know what I mean? I got more stories in Clinton. Cause a lot of niggas got B-loped in Clinton, you know what I mean? The stupid shit. Or anyway, that was one of my On the Gates stories. Clinton Denomore, you know what I mean? Little movie, you know what I mean? I'm out.